Wood Hat, single barrel, Bloody Butcher Red Corn Whiskey. I'm gonna dive into this, tell you guys what I think about it. This is bottled and distilled in New Florence, Missouri. I believe the gentleman's name is Gary, and I'm pretty sure he wears an actual wood hat. I'm not sure if he made the hat himself, but I'm pretty sure he wears like a top hat right here on the bottle that's actually made of wood, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's get this thing popped open, get it poured up. It's 65.8% alcohol by volume. Barrel number 826. Why do we care about the barrel? Well, I'll tell you, because if you're looking for a single barrel bourbon that you've had before and you don't know the barrel number, you're kind of out of luck. So, little tip for the wise here. If you find a single barrel bourbon that you absolutely fall in love, try to get that barrel number. It's the only way that you know you're going to get the actual same barrel if you want to buy a backup bottle. Because remember, batched whiskey, small batch whiskey, more consistent than a single barrel. Not better, not worse, just more consistent because it's batched. Single barrels are what they are. They're something that stands apart and they're chosen for a reason. But the only way to make sure you get the same one, to know that barrel number. All right, let's get into this pop. Not a bad pop. Real cork. I like that. Or is that synthetic? I think they just faked me out. I think that's a synthetic cork that looks like a real cork. Well done. I don't know if the camera's catching that, but when I was pouring that and the light was coming through, there was a red hue to this, and there's a definite red hue to this when I hold it up to the light. I don't know if that's a psychosomatic thing because this is Bloody Butcher Red, or if I'm actually supposed to be seeing this. This is my first soiree with any kind of red corn whiskey. I don't know. It's a beautiful color though. I actually am struggling to quit looking at it. It's a red copper color, absolutely beautiful. I wonder if this is pot stilled. I don't know how they do this. I've never been to their distillery. I'm getting the pot still funk off of this. Like pot stilled whiskey to me comes across with a very distinct kind of funky, earthy feel. Not like Wild Turkey funky where it's dusty funky, or some of the George T. Stagg where it's kind of like the Rickhouse funk. This is different. And I'm gonna say that this might be a pot stilled spirit. Doesn't mean that it's gonna be bad by any means. It means that I'm either gonna love it or not, because that's the way it goes with pot still and me. Pot still brings a flavor that either is really pleasant for me and I enjoy it because it's complex and something different, or it's very off-putting because it can taste like boiled socks to me, or what I imagine boiled socks would taste like anyway. All right, here we go. I'm still trying to place the nose. The nose is very grain forward. I actually think I can smell some of the corn. A little bit of sweet, a whole lot of earthy. Just the slightest muted. I'm trying to think if it's cherry or lemon. Maybe I'll get it after I go to the palate. Cheers. Wow, this is very unique. This doesn't happen to me very often. I've drank a lot of bourbon and a lot of whiskey, a lot of spirits, and very seldom will I get something that takes me for an unexpected ride that's so unique as this. I can tell you right now I like this. I can tell you right now that this will be a pour that I would grab for my other bourbon geek friends who have drank so many bottles, because they've not had anything like this, I'd be willing to bet. The earthy note comes through. There's a little bit of a toasted nut note coming through as well. Not the same as Jim Beam, but in the same neighborhood perhaps, but different. That kind of ties back into the nose for me. That was kind of maybe not so much corn, but maybe like that toasted nut that I was getting on the nose that I thought may have been corn. I'm gonna go back in second pass on the palate. This has an amazing, almost like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you guys can laugh at me if you want to. I told you it was unique. I told you it was like nothing else I've ever tasted. There is a Welch's grape or a deep plum note that comes through with this on my palate, as well as that toasted kind of nut. And it reminds me almost like those little Debbie snack cakes, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm not joking. You guys are watching me have a whiskey that is making me really think right now. And that doesn't happen to me very often because I've had a lot of pours, but I've never had one like this. So if you want something very unique and you are in the Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri area, and you can get your hands on this Bloody Butcher Red Corn Whiskey by Woodhat, I highly recommend that you do. Again, not every bottle's for everybody, but this is bringing something new to me, something that I am very much enjoying and something that I cannot wait to share with my friends. Guys, Keith, Beardley Bourbon and Spirits, cheers. If you've enjoyed this content, you can find more on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.